time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to the show. Brent Wallace alongside Jason York, everybody's favorite right shot deep man, and of course, the goalie that stops them all, Sean Simpson. Boys, happy July 17th.
Happy, well, yeah. Another great day in paradise, eh, fellas? No rain today?
Guess. Yeah,
Well,
no,
it's
a
early,
little bit of
Yorkie.
heat. Not too bad. Not too bad. So we're good.
Yeah. At least we're not underwater like Toronto, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy to look at.
It's nuts.
By the way, we'll get to after Claude Giroux is standing by to join us, so we'll get to him right now. But after that, we have some. There's been some movement with the Ottawa Senators and some trades and stuff lately with Steve Staios, so we'll get to that after. But for now, without further ado, because he's not going to wait for us all day long, even though he made me wait an extra hour to talk to him today. Claude Giroux, welcome.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Well,
Good,
something tells me you planned your workout, and then after you have to allot for an extra 20 minutes because once Tony gets talking, right? You might be there for a while.
Yeah, he can talk for a bit, but it's always a treat to kind of listen to him talk.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Maybe a little espresso after as well and chill.
Oh yeah, a few for sure. A few.
All right. So, what have you been up to lately? I know you have. We'll get to your golf at the end, and I don't want Yorkie to hijack this as a golf podcast. But what else have you been up to this summer?
Yeah, I mean, I got two boys, young boys, so they keep us busy. Just training, skating, and golfing. Not as much as I would like to, but just staying busy with the family.
By the way, is Gavin going to start his own podcast? Because I'm a little nervous about the competition.
Oh boy, I don't know, but he can talk a lot, that's for sure. And I don't think that's something he wants to do.
Fair enough. All right. Can we get right to this summer? And you give me your thoughts on everything that's happened. I don't want to get through all the names just yet, but of all the changes that have happened to this roster and your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things happened. Obviously, Steve made some moves, and we got some older players to come in and kind of help the team. And I think Olmark's probably the biggest name. You know, he the last 2 years he really had some great years. I think he got the Vezina 2 years ago. So we're extremely happy to have him on our side.
Claude, we had Linus on with us a couple of weeks ago, and he was pretty funny. Like, most Swedes are all good guys. You know the saying, you never made a bad Swede. But he was talking about some of the chirping, and he goes, I'm glad I got Claude here because we've had some pretty good back and forth on the ice. And he gave you a lot of credit for some of your jabs, but he says he's got a few good ones in there too.
Yeah, I mean, I had a hard time scoring on him for a few years, and so I try to get it in his head a little bit. I know it is a rule you can't really talk to goalies, but I might have said a few things to him during the game to tell him where I'm going to shoot and try to shoot at a different spot.
Claude, you've had 2 great years since you came back to Ottawa, but at the same time, how pissed off are you than the fact that you haven't been in the playoffs?
It's frustrating for sure. Sign here, and I was very excited to join the team, and the first year we had a very good stretch. Thought we could have made the playoffs. We weren't very far, and then last year we took a step back. So it's no excuses, but you change coaches, change GMs, change owners. A lot of things happen, a lot of distraction. So excited for this year. Everything's set in stone. We have some players that are coming in that are definitely going to help us, and all the young players are just getting a year older. So no more excuses here, and we need to start winning some hockey games.
So are you? I don't want to belabor. I don't want to go into being frustrated for 2 years of not getting the results you want. But are you frustrated of being frustrated? And I know because you guys have been asked that for 2 years now about what's it going to take to turn and all that stuff. Are you feel fairly confident you guys are now headed in the right direction?
Well, I think the most frustrating thing is we know what we're capable of, and we'll have a few stretches, and we'll play against some of the best teams in the league, and we're going to dominate them, and then we play another game against maybe a team that shouldn't be in the playoffs, and we find a way to lose that that game. And I think that's just the maturity of this team. And, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to take a huge step this year. We're a team that's going to be very motivated and, not going to go through the year to start the year and say we're going to make the playoffs. We got to go one game at a time here. No need to put extra pressure on each other. And, we just got to stick together. And a lot of times you see teams that don't succeed and they don't stick together, but that's not the case for this team. So, we're all in this together, even coaches, players, and we're going to get out of this.
Claude, you just said something there about young guys naturally get better every year, and I've always said this about your team. When you look down the middle, you got Timmy, who's played 4 years in the league, but he's a young guy. You got Pinto, young guy. You got Ridley Gregg, young guy. Josh Norris, he's been hurt a lot, hasn't played a lot. So now all of a sudden, Timmy's a year older, Pinto's a year older, Gregg's a year older. So you naturally, the more these guys see the league, they get better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, sometimes it takes a little longer to adapt to the NHL. It's a pretty good league, so when you learn a lot from a year, especially a year when you're not winning. That's probably the years you're going to learn the most. When you keep losing and you keep um, not finding the ways, and then one day it might just click, be like, oh, this is how we got to do this, and that's what needs to happen this year. It needs to click. We need to be consistent, and that's one thing that if we're consistent in what we do, we're just going to win more than we lose. So I think that's going to be very important.
Claude, how good? Sorry, one more for Claude. How good was Jacques? How good was Jacques coming in for the group at the end like that?
No, he was good. I mean, a lot of guys, all the guys had respect for him. He was calm. Sometimes he wasn't calm when we needed him not to be. But just his presence and his experience, I think we're able to learn a lot from him. And it was great to have him behind the bench.
And to that, Claude, when you look and think about the Florida Panthers, again, I know a major trade after you're already there, but do you see some symmetry of the fact of, hey, some of the changes they made, the growth, and realizing, hey, you're not that far off. We won't say Stanley Cup, but at least for not that far off from making the playoffs.
Yeah, but you look at our team last year. I think we had two guys that were over 30 years old, and this is. And the guys that we just got, we got older, we got more mature, more experience, and because I strongly believe that leadership is not just one guy, and it's not on Brady, it's not on me, Brady, and Shabbat and Sanderson. It's everybody, and we need depends on the game, depends where we are. Sometimes we need the fourth line guy or the backup goalie to say something that that is the right words. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's not what you say; it's how you do, and that's going to be important for us this year.
There's a few things I'll get to, but what did Steve Stais say to you in the exit meeting? Did he promise you or say this is what we're going to do to help? Did you get the feeling that this offseason there was going to be this kind of change?
Well, I mean, I'm not really going to discuss what we talked about, but I
Come
mean,
on.
no, I think we had great conversations. We were able to. I think there's a lot of conversation with other players, coaches. Everybody kind of thinks the same way, and how we need to take the next step. And I think what Steve was able to do this summer, it's gonna start us on the right foot.
Hey, Claude, I look at Nick Jensen, and everybody always talks about getting a right D. You need a right D. You played a lot against him. Like, I just think that guy's a real underrated guy. You watch him play, and sometimes, the old saying, it's a guy you don't notice that much that helps them out the most. He just seems like he's going to be a real stable guy for you guys.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's not fun to play against. He doesn't do anything special. He's always good stick, good positioning, battles, competes, and some D's you won't even see him the whole game, and that's a good thing. If you don't notice a defenseman, it means he's doing his job. He's getting the puck out. He's killing plays. He doesn't have to play defense because the puck's always in the forward's hand. So I think he's that kind of player that's going to bring a lot of. He's going to break out the puck for us. I'm not too sure who he's going to start playing with, but just being able to have that chemistry with one defenseman, whether it's Shabby or Sandy, being able to have that chemistry early on, that would be huge for us.
How nice is it having David Perron? And I know you played against each other way, way back in the Quebec League, but just that overall feel, when you look at him and think, hey, here's a nice vocal guy, confident guy, and a guy that has won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you get a player that won the Stanley Cup that's been there or a long playoff run, it's he's been through it. So, it's great to have a guy that's finally my age and being able to have that extra experience. And he won't even have to go in there and start talking and start yelling he just goes out there and works hard, and he just needs to play his game, and that's going to do the talking for him.
Have you two ever you've had words with, I think, everybody in the league. Have you and David Perron had words on the ice? I'm just curious if you two will be joking about it in the room.
No,
and then of course
no.
there is the Zub incident. So I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, but that's hockey. Stuff like that's going to happen. And when a player comes to a team and there's more jokes than anything else. So it's a good icebreaker. But no, I think our career's been pretty clean, me and him. So that's a good thing, I guess. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, Claude, I asked Dave this, and I'll ask you the same. You guys are the same age. You seem to be getting better the older you get. Like, what's the secret here? Because I didn't feel like you did when I was your age.
I don't know. The kids coming up, they're faster, they're stronger. You just gotta try to keep up, and I like to think that I can be pretty smart out there and not waste energy I don't have to. And it's like I said, it's a pretty good league.
How good are the workouts with Tony? And you think about that kind of that longevity, but at the same time, hey, haven't missed a game in a couple of years. There has to be something to that.
Yeah, they suck. They're the worst. But when I'm done the workout, I know I got a little bit better. I know my cardio, I got a little stronger, and just to drive up there takes me 30 minutes to get there, and I'm just listening to music, trying to get jacked up for it. But it's Tony's been great for me. We've been together for 18 years now, 19. So we know each other very well. He knows what I respond to. He's not scared of pushing me, and I push him. So we have a good chemistry in the gym.
Have you changed anything over the last couple of years? It's leading me into the questions of, you just had a career 35 goal season 2 years ago. Like you've got, and as Yorkie said, gotten better with age. So it's a two-part. Have you changed much in your training over the last couple of years? And then I want to lead into how well things have gone since you've signed in Ottawa for your offensive production.
When I got my hip surgery and my 2 sports hernia, I didn't really have a choice but to start doing a little bit more hip stuff and recovery stuff. I didn't really do that when I was 20. When you're that young, you think you're invincible and you'll never get hurt. So, and then I started kind of focusing a little bit on more recovery and making sure that my body is prepared to, when you play on a Tuesday and then you play a Wednesday and then a Friday, if you don't do those stuff, like it's tough to play the game. So, I've been able to kind of stay on top of my body, and to be honest, I kind of feel right now at 36, I feel a little bit better than when I was 27. So, it's usually with time, you just learn your body, you kind of understand what your body needs. And, it's pretty much it.
It's crazy. It's crazy, Claude, because you came into a league at the beginning when everybody was like, you got to do more. It's more. If you're not winning, you got to practice harder. Now it's like, you got to rest a little more. You got to take care of yourself. I didn't even hear the word hip mobility 15 years ago. now that's all everyone's talking about.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing for me. I kind of know my body. I know if I need some extra work in the gym. I know if I need that extra day off for practice, and depending on the minutes, depending on how physical the game was, and I think it's important, especially when you get a little older, to kind of you just have to listen to your body.
Absolutely.
So can we go back to? Well, sorry, but you were when you first got here, there was questions about whether or not you could, if you had the same foot speed, if you were still, and I know it bothered you because you brought it up on our show. So I'm just curious now, 2 years later, of what you think about how it's gone for you, and how, like, you're third. I think you're third in the team in points over the last 2 years. You and Drake Batherson are the only two players to have played all 164 games. I just think, like, I don't know when you're going to slow down.
Yeah, I mean, footsteps still trying to work on that. I know when you're
Seems
old,
to be okay.
I know, but it's important to, like I told you, like kids are coming in, they're 19, 20, and they're flying out there, and I just shake my head sometimes. But I did beat Pinto in a race,
I
one
saw
lap
that.
this year. That was huge for my confidence, and made sure to let him know. But I don't know. I'm just having fun. I'm having fun every practice. I'm having fun playing the games. Sometimes I might not show it I'm having fun, but I'm having a blast. And if we start winning, I'll definitely have a little bit more fun.
Is there also a realization, Claude, that working smart and being a smart player means a lot versus necessarily flying around the ice?
Yeah, I think that's very important. I mean, one guy I learned that from was Chris Pronger. He would sometimes he'd finish the first period and no sweat, and he's the best player out there. And kind of realize the guy is just in good position, just good stick, and just plays the game the right way. So I definitely I was lucky enough to play with some great players when I was younger.
Okay, so it's clear you're in great shape. You're still putting up big numbers. This is the last year of your contract, and everybody has been asking me today, can you ask him about signing a contract extension? Have there been any chats about signing a contract extension with the Ottawa Senators?
No, we haven't chat. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. My main focus right now is having a good year with the Sens. Take that next step. I mean, those are just details that I don't need right now. No, I don't need those distraction, and everything's gonna take care of itself.
Is it going to be a distraction, though, if you get near trade deadline and nothing has happened?
I don't think so. I mean, you're being a distraction by talking about it right now, but I'm just kidding. But no,
I'll show myself out.
No, it's something that me and Steve, we didn't really talk about. I haven't talked to my agent about it, or even my wife. It's not something on my mind right now. So I'm a strong believer. If you have a good season, you're playing well, everything's going to work out by itself, and there's no secret behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I'll change
fine.
speeds here for a sec, Claude. Something you probably are thinking about right now. Are you getting ready to play in the tournament at Eagle Creek?
Yeah, it's definitely something I've been thinking about. Last year went okay, and last year I was playing more than I am this year. I haven't played in 11 days. Playing tomorrow. Very excited to see how the game is. It's but like the whole week is awesome. Like we have a practice round on Monday, Tuesday, and then the pro-am on the Wednesday, then the first round on Thursday, and Friday it's the second round. So try to mix in my workouts in there and then play that. But I don't have the confidence I had last year, but I love it. I love the rush. I love feeling uncomfortable. So I mean, if you ask my wife, I'm doing a lot of golf swing in the house without a club, and she just looks at me and shakes her head. But it's awesome. Just golf is very, very interesting game, very frustrating game, but it's all mental. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, and it's just such a fun week. And last year we got a chance to meet some of the players, and these guys are good. Like their misses are not even misses, and you got some guys that might play in the PGA in 2 years. So it's to see what they can do on the golf course. It's actually mind blowing. I knew they were good, but I didn't think they were that good.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like these guys aren't even on the PGA Tour, and they'll go out and they'll destroy Eagle Creek. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's actually crazy.
I played in that program last year, and
they let you on the course.
I don't. Well, I was under a different name. So they
Well, he's not invited back though. So
those guys were so dialed. It's wild to watch how good they are. To think that they're not even on the PGA Tour and just how well they can place a ball. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Claude, speaking, how good is Alfie playing right now, by the way? Jesus. Like, I played with him earlier this season. I know you guys had a match. He was bragging. Is there going to be a rematch?
He won a few times. I beat him once at Eagle Creek, and I'm gonna keep that in my pocket. But yeah, he's playing some good golf. He's fun to play with. He's frustrating to play with actually, but he's definitely a better golfer than me.
Claude, what's your ultimate foursome then? If you could pick four guys, or I'll say three players to play with,
In
hockey
the world,
guys.
like anybody?
I'm going to say three hockey players. Who would they be?
Oh God, I don't know.
Current Wally or all time?
No, they can be all time.
Okay,
all time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that's so hard to say. I'm gonna say Danny Briere because he's almost as good as Alfie. So I'm gonna go Briere, Hartnell because he's just a clown, and I'll probably go Shane Pinto. He's he can bomb the ball and he's fun to be around. So
Claude, can Hart see golf? I used to play with in Nashville, and he was an awful golfer. Is he any better now?
well, he still says that he reminds me that he won the juniors back in where he was, but he's not a great golfer anymore. He'll shoot in the mid 80s, and but he's a character for sure.
Oh, what a beauty!
Claude, what has life been like the last couple of years of just being in one place, like family wise? Like, what has the stability felt like?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely different. First time in my career that I only have one house, and it's been great. We love it here. Kids love it, family and friends, and it's definitely different, but we love it.
Okay, we haven't asked about training camp or Travis Green. So we've heard lots of stuff about Travis Green's training camps. Have you had a discussion to say, hey, I'm 36. I'll take the first 2 days off? Or are you looking forward to these training camps?
No, I'm excited about it. I think it's important to have a hard training camp. If you're done the training camp and you're going to play golf after, I don't think the training camp was hard enough. So I'm not trying to sound like a hero, but when I was with Philly and I got traded to Florida, I couldn't believe how hard the practices were, and I couldn't believe how hard the guys were going, and made me realize like, okay, like good teams, they work, and if we want to win, we have to be in the best shape possible. If you have that edge over any team and you get in the third period and you're still fresh, you're gonna win more than you lose.
Claude, so when we had Allmark on, another thing, that's one of the first things he said, biggest difference when he went to Buffalo to Boston, he couldn't believe how hard Boston practiced. He said it was night and day.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think when you work hard in practice, the game becomes easier. So, that's one thing that Travis has been talking about, having a hard camp, having hard practices. So it's going to be up to us, the players, the older guys, and the leadership group to kind of follow that message.
What has been missing the last couple of years, Claude? Like again, you talk about the work ethic, you talk about the culture, but what do you look at and say, hey, listen, this is a couple of things here that we really, really missed the last couple of years to not be in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. I mean, it's not just one thing. Power play could be going for 10 games, and then the next 10 games we can't do anything. And same for PK. Like, I think if there's one word we need more, is just consistency, because we know we can do it. We just need to do it every night.
Yep.
Do you know Travis at all, by the way? Did you know him beforehand?
No.
Okay. I want to go to your career because you have a chance. I hope you don't mind me talking about milestones coming up, but you have a chance to play 1,200 games, 1,100 points, I think, if I'm not mistaken. TJ, yeah. So you have a chance to get to 1,100 points, 1,200 games. I'm just curious. These numbers are phenomenal. To be 91st in even strength points in NHL history is mind-boggling to me. Not many players have ever gotten to play 1,200 games and all that stuff. I just, when you look back, and I also think of you being on the cover of EA Sports is also a milestone too. And I'm not joking. Like, where do you see all this? Like, what do you think when you see this?
Haven't scored enough goals. That's what I see right now.
You don't shoot enough.
Here we go. No, it's like those numbers are great. It's fun. It's I mean, it's, I don't know, but it's not really, it's not why we play the game. I just want to win hockey games and make playoffs and go from there. You know, like all those stats. It's great. I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it more when I'm done playing. But you know, at the end of the day, that's not the goal. That's not why I play hockey. So it's not something I really think of.
All right, fair enough. I need you to, because you're a veteran, you've gone through lots of rumors. There was a time when lots of these trade rumors about Brady Tkachuk and all this thing about, like, when you were seeing this or hearing this, what were your thoughts?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big social media guy. I saw it on Twitter or something, and I was like, call Brady right away. And he's just like shaking his head, and he's like, none of this is true. And I knew none of this was true. So it's not. I thought about it for about a minute, and then I was on a back burner. It's not something that I have the energy to think of. I have enough on my plate with my kids that those kind of rumors, it's not something that I'm gonna lose sleep over.
Yeah.
But does that get in the room? The only question I have is, does that stuff get in the room very often? Does
Rumors?
it cause much of it? Yeah. Well, like, sometimes rumors can be a distraction. I'm just curious if stuff like that, with him being rumored to be traded or whatever, or wanting out, does that stuff cause any issues just in the room?
No, none. No. Not that I know.
The other one, then I'm going to get with the other one, and then I have no more rumor questions, I promise. There was chatter about Jacob Chicker not being happy in the room, and then there was some talk about you and him. But you and him golfed the other day together. I know that you would go eat dinner lots of times together, at least on the road. Was that, like, is there anything to just the room not being overly happy? But that also plays into the fact that perhaps if you don't win, not everybody's happy.
No, I don't think he was unhappy. I mean, like you just said there, if you're not winning, there's going to be issues. There's going to be guys not happy, and but no, it's not. I mean, that's a question for him. If he was unhappy, he didn't tell me, and I did play golf with him, and I did beat him. So that's one thing to say. But no, that's not. I don't know. I'm not a big rumor guy, and that's one of them. I don't know.
You know, it's funny. Everybody, Wally, when we get out of the game, everybody thinks, the media thinks the players are all talking about this. Believe me, there's so much more to worry about. You're like, you're not sitting before the game. Oh boy, this guy said this about me, and that guy. Like, it's not discussed.
So there's a couple players I want to ask you about, and because I've waited 2 years to ask you, but Ridley Gregg, when you see him, what are your thoughts on him as a player?
I think Ridley's a guy that's only going to get better, and he's going to get better real quick. And you know, there was last year, I thought he played great. He plays on the edge, plays the right way. He's responsible defensively and brings offense. I mean, he's a 200-foot player that you don't want to play against. So definitely happy he's on our side.
Two of the best
about the slap shot.
Yeah,
let me just ask about the empty netter.
Two of the best slap shots of the year, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's. I mean, that was kind of crazy. I was on the bench. I was laughing. The whole thing was, you know, you think he's just gonna put it in and game's over, and he just wanted to make sure it was in, I guess.
I won't even get into what you thought of it as a veteran in the NHL. The other player, Shane Pinto, and where you see his game progressing to.
Yeah, I'm a big Shane Pinto fan. You know, he's like those two guys, offensively and defensively. They're just so responsible, and you don't really see that from younger centermen, that they can play defense and offense. And I think they were playing together at one point last year, and you know, it was just a treat to watch them play. And you know, I love both of those guys, and I only think they're gonna get only better. And it's going to be soon.
Hey, Claude, Pinto strikes me a guy. I've ran into him a few times around town. He just seems like one of those personalities that kind of lights up the room. Like, seems like he's got it's a likable type of personality that's really good for the dressing room. And no coincidence, when he came back, it gave you guys a nice little spark.
Yeah, he's a goof. Me and him go at it pretty much every day. And, you know, I love him because he loves to compete at absolutely everything. And he likes to chirp and, you know, and on and off the ice, he goes hard. So, you know, when you see a young guy going hard in practice, going hard in games and in the gym, it's just great.
Do you think people underestimate how good Pinto and Greg are?
Yeah, I do.
All right. I have a question.
You want me to explain it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You got to expand on that. Come on.
I thought it was a yes or no question. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm just curious. I try to find stuff on the internet that sometimes is entertaining. And I did remember I had a friend of mine who played junior A in Hearst, and he told me about the jersey in Hearst. And I've never known an actual person to have a crest made of them. The Hearst Lumberjacks are you, and includes your initials on his arm in a tattoo. This to me is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, Hearst, for the ones that know where Hearst is, it's a small town and everybody loves hockey, everybody loves sports, and it's you know, I moved there when I moved back. I moved to Orleans when I was 14. So all my memories back then when I was a kid, it was awesome. And then we were able to get the Lumberjacks to Hearst. That was maybe, oh boy, it's been a while, maybe 6-7 years ago now. And you know, there's 4,000 people in the town, and there'll be close to 800 people at the game. So it just shows how the whole town is just behind the team. The players that go play there, they absolutely love it. It's a French town, but I mean, everybody loves going there, and they're kind of the man when they go to Hearst because everybody just loves the Lumberjacks.
Did Pierre LeBrun, was he a little bit jealous it wasn't him on the look?
I think he was runner up. I think, I'm not sure though.
Okay, do you have any special hidden talents?
I mean, a few, I guess. I'm a decent bowler. I played in the bowling league when I was like 12, 13 years old. So I know it's weird a little bit, but
big ball or small ball?
Small ball. But like now,
Okay.
but now we play big balls because it's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a few, but I'd rather not say.
There was somebody in the chat earlier that brought up you played slow pitch in Orleans when you were younger. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, when we moved to Orleans, we had me and all my buddies from Hearst. They all came to university here, and we played for a good 12 years, maybe. I haven't played in a while, so I kind of miss it. But that was a lot of fun.
Steve from Ottawa brought that up. So, what has been, I guess, the best part, other than being home close to your family, about playing in Ottawa in your hometown so far?
I mean, I gotta say, it's probably just my kids being able to see my parents and her parents, and you know, just seeing just family, and you know, you don't get that opportunity if you're playing somewhere else. And you know, I never thought I would play for the Ottawa Sanders in my life when I was in Philly. I never thought that would be a possibility. And you know, it's I have to say that.
By the way, pickleball. Where are you at with the pickleball in the team rankings?
I'm the best player on the team. I'd say I think me and Stutzel, I think we're 1 and 2, or 1A, 1B. We have some great battles. We always start the year at the start of the year, like around camp, we get some big matches, and then we're pretty tired. So it's hard during the year to play because we're so competitive that like we'll play one game and then whoever loses wants to play another one. So during the season we don't play, but usually before camp it can get pretty competitive.
Where does Alfie rank then?
Oh, I haven't played Alfie. But
Oh.
yeah, he would probably beat me, but he's not a player, so it doesn't count.
So will you entertain him asking you to play?
We were supposed to play a few times, but we just played it back to back. I was tired. He was fresh, so there was no way I was gonna play
Not a
him.
chance. Not a
Okay.
chance.
What's the angriest you've been with Tim Stützle on the ice?
Oh boy.
We've seen a couple times. It looks like you two have had a chat.
Yeah, it's great though. He's this kid's hilarious, and I mean we'll go at it. He doesn't. I mean we don't really yell at each other, but literally 5 minutes after we're gonna be laughing about it. But we kind of have the green light to each other to just kind of give it to each other, which is great. I think that's how it should be.
Yep.
It's nothing personal. We're trying to win a hockey game, and if we don't like what your line mate's doing, like there's definitely better ways than to yell at each other. But I love playing with him. He's so competitive that that I love going out there with him and trying to figure out how to win a hockey game.
I watch him sometimes, Claude, and I don't think he knows what he's gonna do. Like he's going this way, like his edge work is unbelievable. Like he
Yeah.
seems to make things up on the fly.
Yeah, I think he does. But even in practice, he'll do something, and it's pretty impressive.
I don't
So
want to
we-
take anything away from the guys in the past, Claude, but honestly, just getting Ullmark in the net and getting some consistency. Because let's be honest, since Craig Anderson left, how nice is it to just have a goaltender where, hey, just need a few saves here, little consistency, and bring some confidence to the group.
Yeah, I mean, Omar had some great season, like I said, like the last 2 years. I'm not even sure about 3 years ago. I think he was in Buffalo before, but you know, we have to do a better job in front of our goaltenders. You look at numbers, and sometimes their numbers won't be good, but it's the kind of chances that we give. I think if we and it's not on the D, it's not on the forward, it's on everybody. We're there's 5 guys on the ice. It could be one guy making a mistake, then the other guys are in trouble. So I think it's not the numbers. I think it's more we need to be better in front of the goalies to if they do get a chance. It's not a grade A chance.
You probably know this. Do you know how many goals you've scored on Linus Ullmark?
Oh God, I would say I remember one, so I'm gonna go with 2.
3.
There you go.
Nice.
The one with Ottawa, it was assisted by Dylan Gambrell. And then you
Oh, yeah.
scored 2 with Philly, one assisted by Couturier and Voracek, and then one was unassisted. So
That's good to know. I
So
got
you
that
can-
on
you-
him, but he did stop me probably 83 times. So I don't know.
and by the way, his numbers for the last 6 years have been phenomenal. There's a lot of excitement, and I don't want to belabor Linus Ullmark coming to this group, but there's a lot of excitement around having him in the net as a Vezina Trophy winner, and the city is pumped about it. And does it carry over to the players when you step on the ice? And I know you kind of already answered this, but you have a Vezina Trophy winning guy behind you. Like if you make a mistake, you probably might be okay for a bit here.
Yeah, well, I personally never had a chance to play with a goalie that won the Vezina, so it's definitely exciting, and just knowing him playing against him, I hated playing against him. He's so big, and he's competitive, and he's very smart on the ice. So having him on my side on our side, it's definitely something we're excited about.
Do the chirps change then in practice, or do you still stay the same?
Oh, no, they probably get worse. But we'll see. I'm not sure how he's gonna respond, or he's gonna be throwing his stick at me, or but I don't know. We'll see. Early on, we're gonna test him and see how he responds.
I think
Okay,
he
then-
said he's a little bit of a stick thrower because we asked him that question. He
Great.
says
That's
he'll
great.
toss it from time to time.
Yeah, I won't be chirping then.
So what's the angriest you've gotten a goalie, and who is it?
I don't think I've ever got mad at a goalie, because I know I can't do their job, so I can't be giving it to them.
I didn't know if one of them you just were chirping him so much he got angry. That's what I was curious about.
Okay.
All right. All right. So, how many more years can you play in the National Hockey League, Claude Giroux?
I love how you use my full name there. I don't know. It's I want to play. I love the game. Till I don't like the game anymore, I'll probably stop. But right now, I still love it. So go 1 year at a time right now.
Okay. We are going to hopefully get Steve Stais on next week, which we will ask him about giving you an extension. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
And they don't have to talk about it anymore. So appreciate your time. I've been anxiously waiting for you to come back on the show. So thank you for taking some time out of a day in the summer when you don't have to. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Claude.
Thanks, guys. Take care,
brother.
guys.
Take care. Have a great season. Claude Giroux.
How about speaking of old guys, Ryan Suter just won up for another year. I think it was in St. Louis. Was it St. Louis summer? I think he's 40 friggin' 1 year old.
I think he's getting paid by 14 teams now.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
3 teams all in the Central Division are paying him.
I'm serious. I asked Claude that question because I played when I was Claude's age. And like I basically had to trick the doctor into Boston on my physical that I was able to play. Like I think I was so beat up and tired, but it's amazing when you take care of your body. Like you listen to Claude, he does the right things, takes care of his body. But man, you can see he's still got that fire, still wants to compete, still hates losing, and that's the key, right, Simmer?
Yeah,
you gotta hate losing.
Yeah, it was funny. My son was up here years ago, and he's in the United States, and he worked out with him out in Orleans, and Claude was throwing up after the workout. And then you see the workouts with Tony, the Greco that he puts in, and there's something there. There's a fire, and it goes beyond. I think everyone. I'm sure he's grinding it out, guys, to win a Stanley Cup, but there's something beyond that, right? When we talk to all these guys, it's the ultimate competitive. When we talk to Jensen, what do you talk about with his wife? It's like competing in a card game. Like, I think there is something more than just, okay, I want to be a good hockey player. No. I want to compete in everything. Like, and doesn't that kind of take you back, guys, to when you're a kid? Like, I would always be super quiet. Was there anything that I ever did when I was young, from bowling to anything else, that I didn't want to win? No, not a chance. Like, I wanted to win at everything. I went about it very quietly, but would I be upset if I lost? Absolutely. And that's everything they hear from all these guys. And I think with Claude Giroux, that's what makes you think, hey, why wouldn't this guy play till he's 40 years old?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, Wally, when I was, to Simmer's point there, the York family card table was just cutthroat. Like there would be some people leaving the card table with tears, and it was ruthless. Yeah. It's
if I lost to Lisa at mini golf, we would have to play again.
Yeah. but you'll be a better man when you get the bird feeder, and I got it. I'm sending it to the house. Like, that'll take Salty Wally just down a level. You'll just be like, okay, a little more tranquil, just a little more relaxed when it comes to losing.
But think about, like, you hear Alfie, ultra competitive, Tim Stützle,
absolutely,
Brady Tkachuk, Claude Giroux, all the best guys in any sport for the most part hate to lose at anything. And I think, if you see Claude Giroux trying to beat, I don't know, Shane Pinto in a foot race, right? Like, all that stuff, I think, just makes you want to figure out how you can be like the leaders on the team. Maybe I'm wrong.
One thing I don't like, and I know Dave Cameron brought it up, Yorkie, the one thing I didn't like in the 80s was you had to be feeling terrible about yourself when you lost. I played on bad teams, and it's one thing I hate. A competitive person, I didn't want to lose. Right. But there's that fine line of, okay, we didn't want to lose, but you don't have to be, to me, it took on another level where there's a balance. You gotta let it go. Yeah, exactly. You're either a competitive guy, which again, most athletes are. Okay, and I tried hard, I prepared hard. If I lost, that's fine. You know what I mean? I did everything I can. Yeah. I can't mope around for days on end.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's the world, as I say, the world's not coming to an end, right? The sun will come up tomorrow. Exactly. But you still want those people in that environment to do whatever they can to finish that contest by winning. That's all.
That is a Jacques Martin staple there, fellas, where Jacques' big thing was the results will take care of themselves if you prepared properly and practiced the right way and did all the little things. Because so many guys psych themselves out. They worry about winning and losing. But if you just play and you prepare properly and you're mentally calm, and that's the tough thing with pro sports. It's like finding, we've all read books on the peak performance zone and where you need to be. And a lot of guys have a tough time getting there because they get too jacked up or maybe not jacked up enough. It's a fine line, but you can tell like Claude knows where that line is. And that's why he's been so good for so long.
All right, we're moving on. We've got a couple things. You know what? Let's take care of some business, TJ. This show proudly presented by Betway. Bet your way with Betway. Must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly. I don't know if you can bet on the Commissioner's Cup that's coming with Claude Giroux in August, but we'll take a look. Maybe you can. Betway. Bet your way with Betway.
Yeah, and our good friends at BEI, as always, Monisher Excavating. Looking to spruce up for some more curb appeal? BEI can help you with all your needs, especially driveway paving, aggregate, and topsoil sales. They do as well. Plus, BEI also does equipment rentals. You can call them at 613-432-1120 or online. You can get them at monisherexcavating.com. BEI is helping to shape the Ottawa Valley, and please slow down in construction zones this summer.
Speaking of BEI, you know what? We're going to go right to it. Don't forget our golf event is coming up. I'm still asking people, please, to send in your letters of why you'd like to play with us three idiots. Speaking of BEI, good day, fellas, from David. I'd like to be involved in the contest. I feel like I should be considered as I have been molded by the great folks at BEI's Winter Friday Hockey. They molded my working and hockey career going forward. So works at BEI. He's played the Free Hockey Friday. He is in the contest. I do have, gentlemen, a Casey Kasem letter, if you will, from Curtis. That
Casey Kasem, isn't he?
It's basically a long distance dedication.
Top 40.
If you could,
that's old school there.
I would like to read some of this. First off, love the addition of Simmer. He brings beauty vibes. Wally's a no-nonsense guy, but we need him for that structure. But he gets so going into, let me by saying Jason York has been a staple in my household growing up. I became a Sens fan very early in my life, going to games with my season ticket holding grandfather, and my mom would occasionally join in. We always had a blast during the 90s and 2000 Sens teams who had a ton of success. I was a huge hockey Sens nerd, would constantly be looking up stats and watching TSN highlights in multiple loops with players like Hossa, Yash, and Havlat. There was no shortage of star players. Speaking of admire, my mom was always curious who the number 33 was. Well, that's Jason York, stable right shot D-man who brings some offense from the back end. She could care less if he was a 100-point star center or a black ace. Quote, he is very handsome. I believe this is a chat GPT at this point. We had jerseys in the house.
The Cougar mom's coming in strong. I love it.
That's probably in my later years with the Sens when I had the long block dark hair going, Wally.
We had solid jerseys in the house. Some had come and gone, but the one constant, even after all these years, is a beautiful white 2D Sens jersey with the number 33 in York on the back. Even signed from a night out when some of the players used to hang out at Marshy's after the game. I do remember the Marshy's hangouts.
Me too.
So here's all right. So we're almost done.
This is a novel, for God's sake.
Yeah,
my parents
was actually scouting back in the day, guys, and Barry Trotz was scouting for Nashville before they came into the league. And like, what was better for a scout than to be able to scout and then go right into Marshy's after for more scouting?
So good.
Okay, it was like seriously, that was utopia. For you're like, okay, let me finish this up. First of all, I can avoid traffic, but now I'm going right into Marshy's. Come on, that was the best of all time.
So good.
Stay on. Just let me finish. Stay on.
Okay, finish it up.
Okay.
My parents were flying to Florida years back, and my dad, of course, was well aware that Jason York was my mom's favorite player. While my mom was getting up for some snacks on the flight, Jason sat right beside where we were sitting in the lounge area. My dad leaned over and said, "Hey, if you could play a prank on my mom," and asked Jason to watch over their luggage and surprise her when she came back. Long story short, or perhaps longer, my mom came back to Yorkie sitting with their stuff alone, and from what I can only imagine, was completely starstruck. Yorkie ended up having a great chat with my parents, and they still bring up that story to this day. That's
I remember that. I was in the AC lounge. They asked me if I'd play a little joke on their mom.
Nice.
It was pretty funny. Yeah,
Nice.
but I was a little older in my career then at that time, so all makes sense.
good for you. You know what though? People always remember that little stuff that you do for people. Just
because the thing is,
Takes
I
them
find when you have kids too, when you have kids of your own, you really get it,
Mm-hmm.
and you spend a little extra time, and especially when you see young kids and you talk to young kids, because you see some guys and they'll just go by and they won't look, but that might be your kid. So you don't. I just find guys with kids really understand that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think growing up here, guys, too, without an NHL team and Yorkie and Wally and Ori from the East Coast, but my God, it was like a Montreal Canadiens was like everything. And I ended up, my greatest story of all time was Sean Simpson was a player on the Ottawa 67s with Jimmy Fox and Yvonne Jolly. I went down to get his autograph, and he did not believe that my name was Sean Simpson. And so I ended up getting it, and I'm like, this is my name. And my mom came down, and what was amazing, 10 years later or 20 years, whatever the years were, I was playing in the World Junior, and we were practicing in Switzerland, and Sean Simpson came up to me and said, "Are you the Sean Simpson that I got the autograph from? Or, or that I gave the autograph to?" And sure enough, it was. And, those little things like that, as you point out, like, how cool is it? But growing up as a kid here, like anything to do with the NHL was bigger than life. Like I couldn't even imagine. Like I'm like, you could actually go to a Montreal Canadiens game. Like it was such a big thing at that time.
I used to get asked, when you're getting interviewed by people like Wally,
Yeah.
So when was the first time you saw your first pro game or been to a pro game? I'm like, when I played in one.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, no, it was though. Like the Ottawa 67s were everything. Like a Montreal Canadiens game, I'm like, do people actually get to go to those games?
Yeah.
I was like, it seemed larger than life, and like you pointed out, like what that means to kids now, and how you can touch somebody's life is so amazing.
Absolutely.
I didn't cover a pro NHL game I didn't go to one until I worked a pro NHL game.
Yeah.
So a little known fact, I covered the very first Toronto Raptors ever exhibition game. So there's that.
Wow. And you covered the Mooseheads, right? Back in the
Covered
day,
the
which was
Mooseheads.
very cool. And I also remember that with Clement Jouadin, but also I believe Wendell Young's brother. Was it Wendell was involved, or was it
his brother? Yeah.
Brother, yeah. And just
Wendell played for the Fredericton Express, so I remember watching him.
Oh God, yeah.
Jean-Sébastien Giguère was the goalie back then.
Nice.
All right. Also, just quickly before we move on to some Sens news, and that's we have a worldwide Fandemonium coming up. It's going to be beginning of August. I'm still trying to work out time zones with everybody, so please, if you want to join in, send in your email to cominginhotsens@gmail.com. Or sorry, cominginhotsens@gmail.com. I'm trying to get everybody put together here, so stand by for that. It's exciting.
I was just watching a documentary on Russia. I think we should bring interpreters in, right? Like that should be, you should be going back and forth with the languages.
No, we're good on the language. They all know English.
Okay.
So, boys, they've made some moves, right? They traded out Roby Yaraventi. Kevin Mandalize is off into Colorado, which is another Colorado guy for the Sens. But all these moves just show that they're just trying to get this place organized. And if they don't see these guys in their future, they're moving them out and maybe taking on something else that might be a project and bringing them back in.
Yeah.
There's been no real big surprises is my point.
No.
Yeah, I look at the goaltending move, guys, and it's pretty simple. When you look at Sogard and you look at Marilainen, and there's Sogard with a one-way contract 2 years from now, which points, but also let's remember when it comes to waivers, that's not a lock-in that you're going to play right away, but it's more of, hey, are you going to clear waivers? What are you going to end up doing? And the Simpson kid, which who doesn't love that name? I got to be honest with you, watching him in London, he's not far off of Mandalize. I was so impressed with him against the 67s a couple of years ago. And then the other part that's interesting with the Arvente is that when it comes to Steve Staios, I love when you know what you're giving and what you're getting. And when you have a guy that worked for the Edmonton Oilers and all of a sudden you're taking players back, I find that pretty intriguing. But at the end of the day, for Mandalisi, hey, fresh opportunity, but there was no space. So I'm intrigued by the end of Edmonton trade guys, only in that, hey, he must have a pretty good feeling of where these guys are at versus where Juventus at.
Yeah, and here's why they're doing what they're doing. They want to eliminate all excuses, and they want everything hit the ground running in training camp, because what has plagued this team for whatever, as long as we can remember, slow starts. So you bring in a coach that's going to come in and get these guys working hard right away. We've all heard about the hard training camps, but last year it was like ownership didn't come in till late. There was all kinds of question marks. Nobody knew anything. And when's Andlauer getting the team now? Moves have been made, goalies in place, right D's in place, veteran forwards are in place. Amadio's there as another good forward. Gregor's there as your fourth line center. So that's a lot of work that's done already. So take the excuses out, and now you say, all right, guys, this is our team. Let's go. Let's make sure we start on time this year.
And it's also just the personality types, right? Like sometimes they just feel like this is it. We're changing the culture, so the personalities that don't fit that culture are on the way.
That's exactly, Wally. It's, if you're going to be part of this group, you're going to be dragged into the culture, and if you're not, you're gone. And that's how it has to be here. If you want to change things, there's got to be a culture created, and you're going to see that from day one at training camp. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I also think, guys, say in the 32-team league, you have shit goaltending, you're going nowhere. And whatever excuse, and again, we can talk about numbers and talk about other things, but hey, last couple of years here has just not been good enough. And people say, hey, it's the chances you give up. Well, you know what? Watch the playoffs. Watch a lot of teams that go a long ways. We can say all we want about the Florida Panthers, but there's a reason the Bob was in the conversation with the Conn Smythe, which means they're giving up a lot of chances. And Ottawa just quite simply has not had the saves. They haven't had a chance. The momentum killers that Murray and Korpisalo were, guys, to start games, to start a season, to start the whole thing. Like Maya Yorkie, think of, and again, I know you talk about team play, but think of for yourself when you played, how deflating is that for the group?
22 times last year they gave up the first or second goal of the hockey game on the first or second shot. Sorry, that's when you start a game in the NHL, the stats don't lie. When you chase the game, you lose.
Yeah,
you usually lose. And in the NHL, it's so tight. They're so well coached. They back check way harder now. Do your better. So no, you're not wrong. Like you got to get it's timely saves, and it's, for me, it's the worst ones were to start hockey games. Summer, you get, everybody's got these routines all day long. You're getting ready to play. You eat the right thing. You go to bed and you sleep. Then you practice and you pregame. The game starts. Shit, we just got scored on.
Yeah. No. But if you go back,
shut it down.
If you go back to 1986, Don Boyd had a full head of hair, and then after watching me play, he had no more hair. Like it was as simple as that. Like it just.
You should have the year by year of Don Boyd's head.
Hey, it's pretty darn simple. Inconsistent goaltending. Oh my God. It just, I don't care what level you're at. I learned that so quickly when I went to junior hockey. These guys are here to win. They're trying to go other places. They don't care about development. They don't care about anything else. It's about, hey, we got to win some hockey games. And unfortunately, I was not in that place.
Quickly, just a quick thanks to Eric, who has now donated twice to our show in the chat. You can make dollar donations in our chat now, by the way.
Is Eric the one that did the poem, though?
That's Eric who did the poem as well. Yes.
Oh, man. That's so solid. That's Eric so solid.
He was so happy Claude was an hour late, because he had some kind of meeting until 2, so it worked out perfect for Eric.
I think he had a doctor's thing, and I told him that I would just Google it, and then I could help him out after if he need be. If he I'll Google MD it, and then I'll just scalpel whatever needs to be.
That's solid.
That's what we'll do here on the show. Okay, quickly, Yorkie, you brought up starts, and I was working on this because we're going to do a show at some point about the schedule. This is a look at the Ottawa Senators' first 20 games over the last 5 years and where they're ranked.
Do we really want to look at this?
Now, just keep in mind, two of these, well, one was COVID, so they didn't reach their 20th game till February 21st. But we talk about that November start. If you just look at 28th, 31st, 32nd, 31st, 28th, you're not moving far from that. And you can see the best they ever did was moved up 10 spots from 31st to 21st back in 2022, 23. If you
so tough.
if you don't get there, you're hooped. And this year, game 22 is right before Americans Thanksgiving.
I always do this exercise as well. While if you look at the Ottawa Senators, and you say, are they going to be a playoff team this year? You do me and my buddies do this when we go out for drinks. Eliminate say the teams that you think that are going to be there every year, and then you figure out, all right, it's going to be tougher than people think. Not impossible, but the way to do it is start on time. Simmer's point, you got to get saves, good goaltending to start the season, get a team playing the right way, get this team competing. Claude said it in practice, harder, day in, day out, create a culture. I think training camp is going to be really, really tough for these guys. They're going to hit the ground running, and it's going to pay dividends. And hopefully they get off to a good start and get some excitement going in the city again.
Yeah, and the other part of that, guys, when you look at the better teams, they may start, kind of 500, but they get better. It's not even about you just all of a sudden, hey, you got to keep pace. But let's be realistic when it comes to Boston, a little bit different. We'll see where Tampa's at. We get into Toronto and some other clubs, Florida. Yeah, no, you got to keep pace
Carolina?
with for sure. Any of the teams keep pace, but at the same time, realizing that, hey, from game 0 to 20, 20 to 40, and then what it looks like on the back end, then all of a sudden just starting to think about trying to make the playoffs.
I will say, I just had a 45-minute conversation at Valaket Sports the other day with a guy who's just a fan. Like, everybody's now just excited to talk about Linus Ullmark, David Perron, Nick Jensen. Like, what's going to happen? How good is Claude going to be? Like, what's Tim Stützle? Is he going to get to 100 points?
Yeah.
There's I know there's been excitement in the past when DeBrincat and Giroux signed. I think it's at a different level right now.
By the way, Rob Racetrack?
It's Rob Racetrack's place. Yeah. It's, by the way, the best place for hockey gear in the city.
And Corey is his guy, and he is so good. And a shout out to Rob, because Rob is the kindest, and he's been so helpful to us as a family. So yeah, love you, Rob.
I still can't get him to sponsor the show, but that's okay. We're still working on it. I wanted to bring up, and I forgot to with Claude.
Yeah,
he is the best free agent signing the Ottawa Senators have had ever.
The only I'm not going to have a debate. The only other one that comes to mind is Clark MacArthur. Because first of all, I won't even say just as far as Ottawa, and I was about to ask this. He had 143 points the last 2 years, boys. Who else in free agency? And I know he makes $6 million. Go back and compare. Forget about Ottawa. And Clark MacArthur, unfortunately, had the concussions, Yorkie. But seriously, when you go through the list of, there are way more, and I'm so curious about Stamkos this year. There's way more misses than hits. Like Claude Giroux and his numbers, forget about him coming home, Yorkie. Yeah. That has been a major, major hit for the Ottawa Senators.
Unbelievable. Like I said, he's like one of those good wines. He's just he's getting better. And so, boys, this has been a pretty good run we've been on lately here. We've had some pretty good guests.
Are you quitting?
Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. We're not going to say who's coming on. Like, I like how we're doing little teasers.
Yeah,
it's gonna get even better next week, boys. We're raising the bar again.
Wow.
Just got confirmation on another guest for next week. So,
wow,
boy, it's gonna get good.
Not Donald. It can't be Donald Trump, is it?
But, no. By the way, Yorkie, for those
with the ear patch on.
No, we're moving on. By the way, people that don't know, we're supposed to go down to one show a week through the summer. It's in your contract. I'm just glad that you haven't read it.
God damn it.
Next week's the last week. We're going 2 next week, and that's it. Then we're going to 1.
No, right up until August 15th.
What are you talking? Come on.
It'll be great. You're going to love it.
That's an off-air conversation.
I'm going to tell you why. Because we're building.
Oh, this is like,
We're hitting the peak next week. And then, Then like we chill for a while. We get some downtime in simmer. You got to get that bird feeder. Like, let's be honest here. We got to get that installed at your place.
No,
Simmer's
it's
gonna come
coming over. See, that's the beauty. Like Wally doesn't even realize what he's missing. Eh? Like seriously, like he'll just be like, honestly, that'll be utopia at home.
Well,
you
Wally's
watch that
gonna
bad
be
boy
back
in the
there.
morning. Hey,
You got some privacy back there, Wally?
Do you know what I do know? By the way,
is the yard private?
Oh yeah.
I could see Wally going out there in the morning, just the road open, wide open.
He'll be making love out there. Is that allowed in suburbia?
No, not.
Hey, listen, things get crazy in Stitz Vegas. You know the old saying, when the garage is half open out there, it gets a little crazy.
I thought that was Barhaven, but okay, it's okay. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine.
By the way, if you send me a bird feeder, Simmer, it better be the one with the cameras now in them.
Oh, whoa! I got the squirrel and chipmunk feeder, but that the one that you're talking about is sponsored by Pornhub. I don't have that one.
I can't do this anymore. All right, Yorkie, is that? Do you know what day your guest is?
Wednesday or Thursday? I think we'll do Thursday mornings. Good.
So we'll still have a Monday show because I'm still working on a different guest, and then we'll. Then
we're going down to one the week after.
Yeah. The coming in hot thing now has to have like a torch on it. Like this hasn't been hot. This has been like seriously. Like this has to be. TJ's got to work on a little something here where it's like a flame.
You know what? TJ's been solid.
No, TJ's been unbelievable.
Yeah,
we love
and
TJ.
I think he's going to do the show next week. Tarp off, he was saying.
Oh wow. You could never get enough of that.
So good. He's going to be good too. Amadio, I heard from some guys in Vegas, is going to be like he's underrated, sneaky good. Sneaky good is the scouting report.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll find out. I'm terrified of where the show's going to go at this point, so we're just going to shut it down and reconvene on Monday. Everybody, thank you for tuning in, and thanks to Claude Giroux for spending some time with us today.
Right. Claude was great. Cheers. See ya, fellas. Go get that bird.
Cheers. Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.